Your life as every CIA Black Ops rank. Level 1. The Green File. The phone rings at 4:47 a.m. You don't recognize the number. You answer anyway. A voice you've never heard says a name you used once on a graduate school application 6 years ago. Then it gives you an address. Then it hangs up. You show up. A gray building in Northern Virginia. No signage. You're led through 3 security checkpoints without anyone asking your name. They already know it. They know everything. Your college roommate's parking tickets. Your mother's pharmacy records. The essay you wrote at 17 about wanting to change the world. That essay is why you're here. They call you a green file. You're not CIA yet. You're a possibility, a shape they haven't decided to mold or discard. You sit in windowless rooms for 9 weeks. You learn to lie in structured environments. You learn to spot lies. You learn that the truth is a tool, not a principle. You tell yourself this is service, duty, something noble. You need that story for now. Level 2. The NOC. You graduate the farm, Camp Peary, with a cover identity thicker than your real one. Non-official cover, NOC. No diplomatic immunity, no embassy to run to. If you're caught, the agency doesn't know your name. You're deployed under commercial cover, a consulting firm in Amman, a tech startup in Kuala Lumpur. You attend meetings about market research. You file reports about satellite infrastructure. At night, you meet people in parking garages and hotel lobbies, and you ask questions that sound casual but aren't. You recruit your first asset, a mid-level defense official with a gambling problem and a second family. You don't judge him, you solve his problems. You become his best friend in the world. You learn the first real rule. People don't betray their countries for ideology. They betray them because someone finally listens. Your handler back in Langley sends 2 words after your first successful intelligence product. Good work. That's it. No medals, no recognition. You don't exist. You start to like it that way. Level 3. The Operator. You transfer to the Special Activities Division, Ground Branch. You're no longer collecting intelligence, you're acting on it. Your first operation is in a country you can't name, targeting a network you'll never read about. You're part of a 4-man team. You carry weapons with no serial numbers. You wear no flag. Your exfil plan has 3 contingencies, and none of them involve official channels. The first time you pull a trigger outside a training environment, your hands don't shake. That surprises you. What surprises you more is that you sleep fine afterward. 8 hours, no dreams. You tell yourself that's discipline. You clear $127,000 a year with hazard supplements routed through accounts in countries you've never visited. You can't tell anyone what you do. Your family thinks you work in federal logistics. Your girlfriend asks why you flinch when cars backfire. You say you don't. She stops asking. Level 4. The Case Lead. You run operations now. Small teams, 3 to 6 people who answer to you and only you. The paperwork moves through channels so compartmentalized that your own station chief doesn't know the full scope. You plan a rendition in East Africa. A target is moved across 2 borders in 14 hours. No shots fired, no press coverage. The intelligence he provides over the next 11 months prevents something. You're told it was significant. You never learn the details. You start making moral calculations that would have horrified you 5 years ago. You weigh lives like currency. Not because you're cruel, because the math demands it. 3 lives risked to protect 40. An asset burned to preserve a network. A village left unwarned because warning it compromises a source embedded in something larger. You stop sleeping 8 hours. Now it's 5, sometimes 4. You don't dream, you plan. Level 5, the Chief of Base. You run a black site. Not officially. Officially, it doesn't exist. It's a compound in a country whose government looks the other way in exchange for $2.3 million annually in counter-terrorism funding and equipment they'll quietly use on their own dissidents. You oversee interrogations. Enhanced. You've read the legal memos. You know which techniques are authorized, which sit in the gray zone, and which happen when the cameras get repositioned. You report upward, sanitized summaries, clean language. You learn that the distance between what happens in a room and what appears in a cable is measured in careers. Yours depends on maintaining that distance. 26 people work under your authority. They call you Chief. Some of them are 24 years old. You see yourself in them, that version of you, the one who thought this was about service. He feels like a stranger now. You don't question the mission. Questioning is a luxury for people who don't have to execute. Level 6, the Program Director. You're back in Virginia. You wear a suit now. You sit in rooms with wood-paneled walls and read briefings stamped with code words that fewer than 40 people on Earth are cleared to see. You design programs, covert action initiatives, regime influence operations, paramilitary campaigns that reshape political landscapes in countries most Americans can't locate on a map. You brief the director. Sometimes you brief the White House. You speak in euphemisms so practiced they no longer feel like euphemisms. Neutralize means what it means. Destabilize means what it means. You've stopped translating. Your name is on nothing. Your signature authorizes everything. You have a corner office and a marriage that exists mostly in theory. Your daughter is 14. She wrote a school paper on government transparency. You read it and felt nothing, and the absence of feeling was the thing that kept you awake that night. $214,000 a year, government pension, a house in McLean, a life that looks ordinary from the outside and is built entirely from secrets on the inside. Level 7, the Architect. You don't appear on any org chart. Your title changes depending on who's asking. You sit on interagency committees that don't show up in congressional records. You coordinate between divisions that officially have no relation. You greenlight operations spanning 4 continents. You manage black budgets north of $800 million. You've built networks of assets, contractors, partner services, and proxy forces that function as a shadow foreign policy, parallel to the one the public sees. People inside the building call you by your first name. People outside the building don't know you exist. You've lost count of the operations. The names blur. The countries blur. What stays sharp is the architecture, the systems you've built. They'll outlast you. They'll outlast the current administration. They'll operate on their own momentum long after you're gone. That thought doesn't comfort you. It terrifies you. Because you understand now that the machine doesn't need an architect. It just needs someone willing to sit in the chair. And there is always someone willing. Level 8, the Ghost. You retire, quietly, no ceremony. Your files are sealed, reclassified, some destroyed. Your operational history is scattered across servers in facilities you'll never enter again. You live in a house on 11 acres in rural Virginia. You have a dog. You read history books about wars the public knows, and you think about the ones they don't. You drive to the hardware store on Saturdays. Your phone doesn't ring anymore. You sit on the porch in the evening and think about a man in a parking garage in Amman 23 years ago who trusted you with his life. You know exactly what happened to him. You authorized it yourself, 6 years later, from a desk in a building with no name, because he'd become a liability. You were right. Operationally, you were right. That doesn't help. You think about the system, how it finds people like you, smart, driven, willing to believe the first story it tells them, how it strips them down layer by layer until they're perfectly functional and perfectly hollow, how it rewards obedience with authority and authority with isolation. You don't regret it. Regret requires imagining an alternative, and you can't. The person you were before this doesn't exist anymore. He was replaced so gradually that you never noticed the moment he disappeared. The dog rests at your feet, the sky goes dark, the acres stretch out around you, silent. You are free, you are untouchable, you are completely alone. And somewhere in Northern Virginia, a phone rings at 4:47 a.m. A 26-year-old answers it. A voice she doesn't recognize has a name she barely remembers using, then an address, then silence. She shows up the next morning, eager, certain she understands what she's walking into. She doesn't, but she will.